My art is about life, the meaning of the existence, the why we are here, where we're going, who we are. That's the basic question that Paul Gauguin, about 100 years ago, put in one of his paintings, and that's the principle I is tending to, like a starting point to develop my creation. The concept of light and creation, the relation in between science and religion is what gave me great inspiration to develop my work. For entertainment, I like to play the guitar a little bit. I like horses, swimming, and I do a lot of research on the condition of the world today in politics, economics. I do research on science, and based on visions and dreams and aspect of reality, I try to develop this concept of and new ideas and bringing into the art world, into my paintings. To me, all tied up somehow in a concept of prophecy. I think at the principle of physics, the quantum mechanics, somehow tied up with space and time and the future, and to me it's a very interesting thing. That's when I say the mystical part of light somehow create different kind of histories, and basically that's what is the structure of my work.
See, the storm is broken in the middle of the night. Nothing left here for me. It's washed away. The rain pushes the buildings aside. The sky turns black. The sky, wash it far. Push it out to sea. There's nothing left here for me. I watch it lift up to the sky. I watch it crush me, and then I die. Speak to me, baby, in the middle of the night. Pull your mouth close to mine. I can see the wind coming down like black night. So speak to me like the wind's outside. Broken up, pushing us. Hear the rain fall. See the wind come to my eyes. See the storm broken. Now nothing. Speak to me, baby, in the middle of the night. Speak to me. Hold your mouth to mine. The sky is breaking. It's deeper than love. I know the way you feel, like the rain's outside. So speak to me. See the storm is broken in the middle of the night. Nothing left here for me. It's washed away. The rain pushes the buildings aside. The sky turns black. The sky, wash it far. Push it out to sea. There's nothing left here for me. I watch it lift up to the sky. I watch it crush me, and then I die. Speak to me, baby, in the middle of the night. Pull your mouth close to mine. I can see the wind coming down like black night. So speak to me like the wind's outside. Broken up, pushing us. Hear the rain fall. See the wind come to my eyes. See the storm broken. Now nothing. Speak to me, baby, in the middle of the night. Speak to me. Hold your mouth to mine. The sky is breaking. It's deeper than love. I know the way you feel. See the storm is broken in the middle of the night. Nothing left here for me. Washed away. The rain pushes the buildings aside. The sky turns black. The sky, wash it far. Push it out to sea. There's nothing left here for me. I watch it lift up to the sky. I watch it crush me, and then I die. Speak to me, baby, in the middle of the night. Pull your mouth close to mine. I can see the wind coming down like black night. So speak to me like the wind's outside. Broken up, pushing us. Hear the rain fall. See the wind come to my eyes. See the storm broken. Now nothing. Speak to me, baby, in the middle of the night. Speak to me. Hold your mouth to mine. The sky is breaking. It's deeper than love. I know the way you feel.
My art is about life, the meaning of the existence, the why we are here, where we're going, who we are.